Okay, my colonial name is Emmett Eastman Sr., and my Dakota name is Tawaka Hediota. Translate his many lightnings. I was born in Sisíthuŋwaŋ, South Dakota in 1931 in a family of 9. And I was second oldest. I had a sister that was a year older than me, and she was born in 1930. So that was the beginning of my reservation life. And I went to country school. On the country, I went with mostly white kids. Our family was just the only Indian family, and so I was accustomed to racism and stuff, from the beginning, and I had to deal with it in the best way I could, and I tried not to be real violent and talking and acting. I tried to get along as much as I could, but I went 8 years in the country school, and then I graduated from the grade school in 1945, and I moved into town, and I went to Sisíthuŋwaŋ High School, attended from 1945 to 1949. I graduated in 1949. But in between those years, I mostly was dedicated to basketball, and I played a little football, but I was too skinny for it. But I played at it, and I earned a letter in that. And then I did track. I ran track in high school. I was a half miler and a miler. I made it to the state tournament in my senior year, but I didn't place I participated, but I didn't place, and so running really wasn't my thing at the time. It was mostly basketball, baseball, and I liked track, but I didn't excel at it really. But I played basketball, and I played in the state tournament in 1949. In 1947, when I was playing Junior Legion baseball, we made it to the state Junior Legion tournament in 1947, and so that was my first taste of state competition and stuff. But I graduated from Sisíthuŋwaŋ High School in 1949, and I was recruited by Huron College. It was a Presbyterian College in Huron, South Dakota, and the coach there was Willard Wood Trussler, and so I had my scholarship to Huron College, and I participated there in basketball, and but I didn't graduate. I went a year and a half, and the Korean War came about, and so I enlisted in the Air Force. Before I become drafted, I was the fear of being drafted and sent straight to Korea, and but luckily I enlisted in the Air Force, and they accepted my enlistment, and that was in 1951, and so I was in the Air Force 4 years, 1951 till 1955, and I did running in there, but mostly again is basketball. I played military basketball, and I didn't play baseball though. I played softball, fast pitch softball, but basketball was my main sport when I was in the Air Force. And then when I got out, in 1945, I married my wife, and she graduated from Huron College that year, 1955, and we got married in July 29th, 1955. So I've been married and I have children. I have 7 children from that marriage, and my oldest is here today, you know, and she invited me to come here and kind of like at your request too, that to interview me, and so I wanted to carry that out too, because I look at it this way: running. I use running as my my base for my life, my culture, and I try to set an example by being a accomplished runner, and along with that, traveling as I run, I travel all over the world due to my running. Oh, I should tell you that I began running in 1971 when I turned 40, and at the time I was golfing a lot, and I was kind of addicted to golfing. But running, I thought, what am I going to do when I'm 40 and older, middle age? And so I thought about the Boston Marathon, and that was in 1971. August of '71, I started marathon running, full marathon running, and I got on a program, and I started to run by daily, and then it got to every day, and then I ran. So I started out with like 2 miles, then I worked my way up to 5 miles, 10 miles, gradually worked my way up to eventually 26 miles and 2/10, full marathon. Yeah, I took my daughter, when I ran the Boston Marathon, I took my oldest daughter, and my wife was alive yet then, and she later died in 1974, which was about a couple of years after I ran the Boston, no, less than 2 years after I ran the Boston Marathon the first time.